Now at 9, a deal has been made. Financial relief for hundreds of millions of Americans will be coming soon. Hear how Utah Senator Mitt Romney played a role in getting the ball rolling.
We should absolutely be caring and protecting people from COVID-19, regardless of the circumstances that they're in.
Coming up, find out when the Utah Department of Health plans to vaccinate Utah's inmate population.
And it's just a matter of time before the Moderna vaccine rolls out across the country. Hear about how it will help Utah's rural hospitals and give those frontline workers a sigh of relief.
And everybody wants to know if we'll have a white Christmas. We'll have that and the details on some exciting astronomy all coming up.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
As we take a live look at our nation's capital tonight, leaders in Congress have finally come to a deal for financial relief from the coronavirus after weeks and months of negotiations. But they're not ready to vote just yet. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Brian Schnee.
And I'm Amy Nay. Let's break down what would go in this bill and how it would benefit you and your family if it is passed. The bill provides those off the job with an extra $300 in unemployment assistance. It also refills the Paycheck Protection Program, and there are $600 stimulus checks for many Americans.
More help is on the way. Moments ago, in consultation with our committees, the 4 leaders of the Senate and the House finalized an agreement.
So this bill is certainly not everything we wanted. Our Republican friends stood in the way of so much. But it is a strong shot in the arm to get things going.
The plan right now is for the House and Senate to vote on the coronavirus package sometime on Monday, ending months of negotiations and finally sending the coronavirus package to President Trump's desk. Now, one of the biggest proponents of the stimulus plan is Utah Republican Senator Mitt Romney.
Fox 13's Spencer Joseph spoke with Senator Romney today about the plan and about his experience with getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
Let's just start off in talking about you posting about the vaccine. Tell me about your experience with it.
Well, I had not expected to get vaccinated until my age group came up. And so I told my wife, I'll probably get it in February or March. And then the physician of the Senate said, we're instructing all of you to get vaccinated as part of a continuity of government provision. Got the shot, no pain. Delighted that the vaccine is available. And anxious for everybody in our state to get it as soon as you possibly can.
How does that make you feel that this is really a pretty big light at the end of the tunnel for all of this?
Yeah, I think you have to recognize that this was really quite extraordinary, and it was American companies, but also foreign companies. And Operation Warp Speed has really propelled that process, and it's really quite extraordinary that we ought to be able to get a handle on this extraordinary pandemic in a way that will save lives.
Switching gears a little bit, obviously this is, you mentioned it's tough on everybody, and you've been a big proponent of that package in Washington.
You know, a number of us were really frustrated that nothing was happening to help people that were in real need as a result of the COVID crisis. We happened to get together for a dinner at Lisa Murkowski's home. She's a senator from Alaska. There were 4 Republicans, 4 Democrats. And we said, I wonder if we can come up with something. And we began working. We came up with a proposal of some $900 billion. And that's basically what you're going to see passed here this week.
What are your thoughts on the current stage of the virus?
I think we made a number of mistakes at the outset with regards to the virus. I don't think there's any other way to explain it. We weren't ready for what happened. On the vaccine front, the decision to buy vaccinations before they were actually proved to be safe and effective, that was a good decision. And I'm hoping from this point forward, we do a better job.
In our time together, Senator Romney also conveyed that he hopes this bipartisan and bicameral support of the stimulus bill will continue on to other issues, and also wishing all Utahns a happy and safe holiday season. Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Now a look at the COVID-19 pandemic by the numbers here in Utah. Nearly 2,000 more Utahns have tested positive for the virus, putting us past the 250,000 mark of positive cases statewide. ICU beds in Utah are at 94.8% capacity. Our rolling 7-day average of COVID-19 cases is 22.7%.
7 more Utahns have died from COVID-19. 4 men and 3 women were among the dead. The victims were from Iron, Morgan, Salt Lake, San Pete, Utah, and Washington counties. 1,155 Utahns have died from the virus.
State health officials are also monitoring the number of vaccines administered, so far saying there have been just over 3,600 vaccines given to Utah's healthcare personnel. That number remains unchanged from yesterday. Health Department saying the system that they pulled this data from has not been updated since Saturday.
Well, that light now we want to talk about. The CDC director has given the final green light for Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine, clearing the way for vaccines to be administered as early as tomorrow. A lot of people waiting for this one. The shipping of the first batch of Moderna vaccines already underway. A big perk about the Moderna vaccine is that it doesn't need to be stored in extremely cold temperatures like Pfizer's. That will allow it to get out to rural hospitals here in Utah and all across the country, something that is desperately needed.
I'm excited that it's going to be here soon. So not only we can continue to serve our community, but I want to keep our staff safe. And that's the biggest piece to all this.
Officials with Operation Warp Speed say 5.9 million doses of the Moderna vaccine will be shipped tomorrow, with the first shots likely administered the very same day.
Utah prison inmates are at some of the highest risk for contracting COVID-19. A vaccine will help to alleviate some of the challenges that prisons are facing in controlling the spread of the virus. Fox 13's Diego Romo spoke with the Utah Department of Health about when inmates can expect to be vaccinated.
According to the latest data from the Utah Department of Corrections, there are 1,193 active cases of COVID-19 in Utah prisons. Dr. Michelle Hoffman with the Utah Department of Health says outbreaks are due in large part to how inmates are housed.
It's the safe distance piece that becomes really challenging in any congregate setting.
Wendy Parmley with the Utah Prison Advocate Network agrees and says living quarters can be very tight for inmates.
A lot of the people housed in the prison are in dorm settings. And so there are many people housed in a dorm, and those bunks are 2 to 3 feet apart.
Despite efforts to keep inmates safe, the lack of social distancing has created major problems.
Regardless of what we're doing with personal protective equipment, sanitizing everything, it's still a very high-risk situation because of that inability to maintain the physical distance easily.
In a statement sent to Fox 13, the Utah Department of Health says inmates are planned to receive vaccines in phase 2 of the rollout alongside long-term care facilities.
To be able to get that population vaccinated as quickly as possible, I think will be really important in protecting life.
Kathy Linford, whose son Calvin is an inmate at the Draper prison, is hopeful a vaccine will keep him safe.
That would be wonderful. I really would hope for that to happen.
But Calvin has his doubts.
I have no faith in the medical system here. I don't know if they'd even give us the actual vaccine.
Sarah Wolovic, an attorney with the ACLU, says this distrust comes from a lack of adequate medical care.
You know, their concerns are not frivolous. People are really frightened. A really consistent theme, both in calls to me and in the letters that we get from incarcerated people, is the complete lack of social distancing.
Most people are just like, oh, he's in prison, he deserves it, so what? And I'm like, dude, that is my son in there. That is my child.
Sarah says getting inmates vaccinated will benefit the whole community.
It would do enormous good for lessening the burden on our health resources.
Dr. Hoffman says it's a matter of protecting all lives.
We should absolutely be caring and protecting people from COVID-19, regardless of the circumstances that they're in.
We reached out to the Utah Department of Corrections for comment, and they acknowledge that dormitory living does create challenges for controlling the spread of the virus. But they declined to issue an official statement and instead referred us to their website, where they have been posting regular COVID-19 updates. We'll link you over to that page on fox13now.com. In Draper, Diego Romo, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Looking at COVID-19 overseas now, across the pond in the United Kingdom, there's great concern over a new strain of the virus that's believed to be 70% more contagious than what we've been dealing with here.
Yeah, some concerning developments on that front. The government there imposing new restrictions on 16 million people in London and in other parts of the UK, forcing shops to close and some families to cancel their Christmas gatherings.
Given the early evidence we have on this new variant of the virus, the potential risk it poses, it is with a very heavy heart. I must tell you, we cannot continue with Christmas as planned.
When it comes to America's response to this new strain of COVID-19, President-elect Joe Biden's Surgeon General nominee says this new strain of COVID-19 won't change their approach.
While it seems to be more easily transmissible, we do not have evidence yet that this is a more deadly virus to an individual who acquires it, and there's no reason to believe that the vaccines that have been developed will not be effective against this virus as well.
The British Prime Minister says this lockdown could last for some time. Several nations in the European Union have already temporarily banned flights from the UK as a precaution.
Of course, keep it tuned here to Fox 13 for all of your latest developments on COVID-19 here in Utah and around the world. And don't forget, you can always watch us on Roku TV, Fire TV, Apple TV, or any of your favorite streaming platforms.
Turning to your weather now, Dina Friedman in for Breck Bolton tonight. Dina, I think the question that most are wondering, people are out and about getting excited for the holiday that takes place later this week. Will there be a white Christmas?
No. Sorry, just straight to the point. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. No, it's not going to be. All right, no, we don't really have much snow in the forecast at all. There'll be some fog tonight and a couple of shots of snow on about Tuesday, but overall, not really a white Christmas. However, if you go skiing, you can have your own fun in the snow, right? Intermountain camera tonight. So we've got partly cloudy skies currently and a temperature of 40. It is abnormally warm. And you know, when it's this warm at 9 o'clock at night, you should be suspicious. We've had some interesting clouds tonight as well. We've had low and mid-level clouds. And when you have those water droplets, you get excellent sunset views. Tanya sent this in. Thank you so much. Beautiful picture. So a few showers tonight. Just a weak system off to the north and some of this persistent northwest flow giving us some very light showers in northern Utah. So this is our 24-hour temperature change. This shows you how warm it is. It is 13 degrees warmer than it was 24 hours ago in Ogden and 8 degrees warmer in Salt Lake, 12 degrees warmer in Provo. So that means that the current temperatures are sitting at around 40 degrees. Now, when it's this warm overnight and only in the 30s in the morning, it's going to get very cold very soon. We'll tell you when coming up.
Dina, thank you. Still ahead on Fox 13 News at 9. Some would call it a radical change in southern Utah history. We'll get you up to speed on what's happening in the process to change the name of Dixie State University.
And this weekend, dozens of avalanches were triggered in our local mountains. Coming up next, hear about the dangers hidden under the snow that can cause even more harm in the event of an avalanche.
A global pandemic is not stopping a world-famous Utah choir. Why their gift of music just might be more important now than ever.
We can introduce a virus and kill this thing.
Monday.
You want to break into Zava to steal a virus.
There's only one episode left until the season finale event.
Please don't do this.
An all-new episode of Next, Monday at 8 on Fox.
An annual flu shot is the best way to protect you and your loved ones from influenza. Yet last year, only 40% of Utahns chose to receive a flu shot. With COVID, it's especially important to stay healthy in Utah. Get vaccinated. Defend against the flu.
The Arby's French dip sandwich is like dipping beef into more beef? 2 for $6? Listen up, carnivores. We are peaking. Arby's, we have the meats.
Visit Happy Honda Days to get a great offer on the CR-V. While others may be decking the halls, you could be dashing through the snow with the best value of the season.
Everything changes the moment you're diagnosed with cancer. At Intermountain Cancer Center, we create a plan that gives you more of the moments that matter most, with experts dedicated to you. A team of caregivers who know why it all matters, and who fight with you to give you the best chance. Our experience means a better one for you.
treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in.
That doesn't count as a mask.
Tim Allen is back for the final season of Last Man Standing, January 7th on Fox.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. New at 9, police have arrested 4 people in West Valley City after a fraud investigation turns into a police chase. It all started around 11 o'clock this morning when police responded to Czech City at 3514 West, 3500 South. That's where police arrested Derek Adams. They then say a blue car took off, hitting 2 police cars in the process. Police pursued the vehicle for about 15 minutes before ending the chase around 600 East and 15th South. Police say Brandon Wyatt, Trevor Simmons, and Andrea Smith tried running off, but were taken into custody.
The next step has been taken in the potential name change of Dixie State University in St. George. On Friday, the Utah Board of Higher Education recommended the name change to move to the state legislature. This comes after the Dixie State University Board of Trustees recommended the change earlier in the week.
This is heavy. And for a lot of people outside of the state of Utah, this is really heavy, that really understand what all this means and what that word means, Dixie.
It really does come back to how it affects students. I think community members and people in the state of Utah, we may have a dear love for Dixie State. And obviously, I mean, the university is not changing. It's simply a rebrand a bit in benefit of the students and their futures. And that's what it all comes down to.
The recommendations come after a study was conducted about the name Dixie and the impact it may have on current students and alumni. Now it's up to the legislature in the upcoming session if that name will indeed be changed. The avalanche danger in the state of Utah is high right now. Since Friday, there have been 35 human-triggered or natural avalanches across the state.
That's quite a big number. The Utah Avalanche Center says recent heavy snowfall and drifting from strong winds have created areas of unstable snow, especially as the recent storm stacked up really quickly on top of an unstable base.
Triggering even a small avalanche right now is going to reveal stumps and deadfall and rock that's hidden underneath the shallow snowpacks.
That's Craig Gordon with the Utah Avalanche Center. He says that does not mean you can't go out and enjoy the greatest snow on earth. What it does mean, though, is if you are out in the snow, keep your slope angles low and avoid being on or beneath any steep, wind-drifted slopes. Tina knows all about that. You were out enjoying it today, right?
Yeah, I did some cross-country skiing up by East Canyon. Beautiful day outside, of course. All right, and it's turning out to be a really nice evening, too. It's very warm out there. Let's take a live look outside right now. We've got partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies in the northern part of the state and very warm temperatures as well. In fact, it is so warm that the temperature is still 40 degrees right now. When it's 40 degrees at 9 o'clock at night, you should be suspicious that something is brewing, and it is, because we've got a very strong storm that'll be moving in, and that'll be with us on Tuesday. Now, when it's this warm, some of our clouds are still made of a mix of water droplets and ice. And so we have a rainbow tonight, which typically in the month of December, you wouldn't see that. And you could actually see the shadow of the faint double there with the colors reversed on the other side. So Karen saw that over the Oakers tonight. Wow. Fantastic. A rainbow in December, not that usual. We've had persistent northwest flow today and a little bit of activity. So just some light showers around. Nothing significant, of course. Still getting a few light showers over in Cache and Rich County. But the big story is our next storm, and that is a ways off. Still over here, out over the Pacific. It'll be making its way in late tomorrow and more into the way of Tuesday. So it is 40 right now in Salt Lake, 36 in Park City at 9 o'clock at night. That's really weird. So we've just got some really warm air ahead of this storm. We have that southwest flow ahead of it, so it'll keep things pretty warm tomorrow, too. 22 in Bryce, 40 in St. George, so a warm night. Today's temperature was 42, average is 37. The record high, of course, 61. And sunset now, 5:03. And, of course, tomorrow, the shortest day of the year, marks the winter solstice, and much excitement that we've been hearing about the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. So these two planets look like they're coming together, but of course they're out very far apart from each other in space. But if you look after sunset, and so about an hour to hour and a half really after sunset, because these go down pretty quickly. The sunset is at 5:04. So last night I was able to see them at around, I think it was about 6 o'clock. So you can definitely get out there and check these out. And the forecast is for partly cloudy skies. And if you get some binoculars or you have a really good telescope and you're looking out there, you might be able to see the 4 moons around Jupiter too. So this is really cool. So the Christmas star, it's going to look really bright as they come together on the solstice. So really a cool event. Closest encounter in 400 years. Don't want to miss it. All right. High pressure will be around for tomorrow. And on the backside of the high, as this rotates around clockwise, you get this very warm flow. Warm. Upper 40s. Warm. But there's a caveat. There it is. And that cold front gets here on Tuesday morning, and it is cold behind it, definitely, but it is also rather dry. We'll have some snow at our highest elevations, but nothing significant at this point. 32 degrees tonight, partly cloudy in Salt Lake, cold and vernal, low of 12, 27 in Kanab tonight. And tomorrow, southern Utah, the big winner ahead of the storm, nice and warm, 60 in St. George. That's fantastic. Enjoy it while you can. 48 in Salt Lake tomorrow, partly cloudy. Should be a pretty nice day. And southern Utah, then, you've got some nice weather here for Christmas week, and just cools off a little bit on Christmas Day there. Temperatures stay in the 50s. And the Wasatch Front, the thing we want to pay attention to, there's the storm on Tuesday, giving us some very light snow flurries mixing in with some raindrops. The coldest air going to be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. So Christmas morning, cold, but dry on Christmas Day. So a white Christmas doesn't look likely, but a cold Christmas morning for sure.
Wow. All right, we'll bundle up. Thanks so much, Dina. Still ahead, attention Trader Joe's shoppers. We're going to explain why one product is now being recalled.
And possibly life-saving information isn't going as widespread as some experts had hoped. We're looking into the holdups in testing wastewater nationwide for early signs of COVID outbreaks when we come back.
We drive everywhere to help our son reach his dream of becoming an elite swimmer. So we enrolled in the Know Your Drive program with American Family Insurance. It gives us discounts for safe driving and other benefits, like emergency roadside service, which comes in handy, no matter where his dreams take him. With Know Your Drive, save up to 20% and get closer to your dreams. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
For over 20 years, Marcosian Auto has provided quality used vehicles to the people of Utah regardless of credit situation. And at Marcosian Auto, if you have a job and a driver's license, you're approved, guaranteed. You're approved for full warranties and free oil changes. You're approved for super low downs and super reasonable payments. And folks, especially with COVID-19, don't get jerked around, get approved.
Experienced using cocaine or other stimulants for fun? PRA is seeking men and women with experience using intranasal stimulants for a clinical research study. Participants must be available for one stay of 14 nights and one follow-up visit. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $5,600. Find out if you qualify. Call PRA at 801-719-5570 or visit prastudies.com.
Everyone at Larry H. Miller Dealerships agrees 2020 needs to end already. In fact, let's start 2021 early with the Bash Sale, the biggest automotive sale in history. All the great savings you deserve are here now. Save big on over 20,000 vehicles with deals like no payments for 90 days, no money down, low interest, and special financing available. Start 2021 off right and earlier than expected. The Bash Sales Event. Find your deal online at LHMauto.com or a Larry H. Miller dealership near you. Driven by you.
In your health headlines, a new study is looking at the impact of different flavors of vapes to your heart and lungs. Researchers at University of South Florida Health used 3 popular vaping flavors in a test on mice. They used cinnamon, fruit, and vanilla custard. They say the chemicals in those flavors interfered with the heart's ability to beat correctly. Nicotine caused even more damage. The vanilla custard flavored caused the most damage to the mice's heart and its ability to beat in rhythm. Wildfires can do more harm beyond the charred remains of land and buildings that they leave behind. Scientists from the University of Idaho found that bacteria can make people sick, can survive and be transported by smoke plumes. Now, researchers found many of the potentially dangerous particles were in the air prior to the fires, meaning they survived and spread with smoke. They say more research is needed on how much damage those particles can cause to humans.
Turning right now to your Money Watch, and Trader Joe's shoppers, listen up. There's a recall that you need to know about. You may need to go check your freezers. It has to do with its lightly salted frozen edamame. The FDA says the product may be contaminated with listeria. The edamame was sold at locations in Utah, Arizona, California, and Nevada. Anyone who bought the product should contact the store where it was purchased from for a full refund. Retailers worry fewer impulse purchases will hurt their bottom line this holiday season. You know, those things you pick up right before you check out, the things you never knew you needed. Impulse purchases make up 25% of holiday spending. Market research firm NPD Group says this year that number will be close to 18 to 20%. That means customers will spend $5 to $7 billion less than a typical year. NPD Group says shoppers plan to spend $691 on gifts this year, and that is down from $740 last year. Still ahead in our next half hour, testing wastewater for early signs of COVID outbreaks still isn't mainstream across the country. We're looking into what's stopping that from happening.
And we'll show you how a beloved Utah choir is still getting their majestic voices out there during the pandemic. It's a story you don't want to miss.
An HIV diagnosis doesn't have to define you anymore. There are plenty of people out there with HIV who are living healthy and happy lives. And if you think about it, the H stands for human. Learn more at hivandme.com.
It's easier than you think for pests to threaten your family's health. Ticks, which spread dangerous diseases, hide in tall grasses and even on your pets. Rodents easily invade your home, contaminate food, and can carry more than 35 diseases. Mosquitoes, which breed in standing water, transmit many diseases. Get the facts you need to protect your family at pestworld.org. It's that easy.
Breast implant injury? Now your attorney matters. Have you or a loved one had breast implants, such as Allergan's textured breast implants, and experienced cancer or other physical ailments? If you or a loved one has suffered due to Allergan's textured breast implants, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Call Robert J. DeBryan Associates. Call or click today for a free case review. Now your attorney matters. Robert J. DeBryan Associates.
This is where Leah learned to dribble, where James first picked up a brush, where Bella made meal kits for neighbors in need. This school year, many YMCAs are transforming some of their spaces for virtual learning, dedicating staff and even providing meals. So now, this is also where they will master long division, study photosynthesis, and learn when they need support, the Y is there for them. The Y, forever learning for a better us.
I'm the kindest person you will ever meet. That's ridiculous. Are you nuts? They don't just keep me here because I'm a pretty face.
Weekdays at 3 on Fox 13.
Early on in the pandemic, we told you about cities testing their sewage for early signs of COVID outbreaks, signs showing up before people became sick in large numbers.
It is Patrick Terpstra with our partners at Newsy discovered wastewater testing has not become mainstream, even though some say it could potentially save lives.
Our sewage could be telling us a whole lot more about the spread of coronavirus, down to the zip code.
The national scale, you can then see exactly where the virus is and where it is not.
Cities from New York to LA are analyzing wastewater to detect COVID hotspots, but we found widespread coordinated testing is still a pipe dream. The country heads into a COVID winter without fully deploying one of the few methods for tracking the virus.
It is frustrating. We're going to see a huge amount of sadness over the next few months. And it's not too late to scale up wastewater surveillance at this time to help us with that.
Early on, scientists realized infected people shed COVID in stool. The federal government began a big effort for analyzing concentration of the virus in community wastewater, with potential to help monitor infection rates as more Americans get vaccinated.
It's something I think from a national level we need to pursue.
But so far it's been up to state and local authorities to launch their own programs, and for some, that's a challenge. We learned New York State, for example, suspended its sewage surveillance pilot after a month, in part because of an equipment shortage. Testing stopped in 4 places, including Albany and Erie County. The University at Buffalo, helping lead the project, tells us they're in the process of acquiring enough materials to continue the monitoring effort moving forward. As with PPE, there is a global shortage of the supplies needed to test wastewater for COVID. Other places are struggling with how to pay for it, with coronavirus aid from Washington running dry.
The biggest factor, the limiting factor is finances.
The result is a patchwork of places analyzing wastewater across the country, mainly big cities and college campuses.
It's not like really a unified strategy, unfortunately.
Professor Colleen Naughton and her team at the University of California, Merced, plot testing sites on a map.
When you zoom out, of course, the bubbles are pretty big, so it looks like all the U.S. is covered. When you zoom in a little bit more, you do see it's like a bit more spread out.
BioBot Analytics looks for COVID and wastewater for about 200 cities and counties.
We're at the beginning, let's say that.
And could be doing much more.
There hasn't really been a strong coming together yet around a specific approach or even like standards.
The CDC tells us it's working on it, still building out a national sewage testing database, not available to the public yet.
It is, I think, valuable for the public to see that data and like take action and just use it as another deciding factor of like what activities and what risks I'm going to take.
Possibly life-saving information.
This is the sample itself.
From your own neighborhood. I'm Patrick Terpstra reporting in Washington.
More national news for you right now. Some members of Congress are calling for a California congressman to be removed from the House Intelligence Committee because of his connections with a suspected Chinese spy. After an FBI briefing this week about what they know about Congressman Eric Swalwell and his ties with accused spy Christine Fang, Republicans today are still expressing outrage, including one of the 2 members of Congress who took part in that briefing.
The one answer that I got out of that briefing was there is no way Eric Swalwell should continue to serve on the Intel Committee. And the challenge here is the leaders of both parties are the only people who select to go on the Intel Committee.
Congressman Swalwell refused to speak with reporters this week about his relationship with Fang. Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she has no concerns about the congressman.
And in more national headlines, President-elect Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, continues to be under the microscope over his taxes and his dealings with the Chinese. President Donald Trump is reportedly considering putting a special counsel in charge of the investigation, while some Republicans in Congress have urged President-elect Biden to keep those working the investigation on board until the investigation is complete.
His father's going to be the president making political appointees, making political appointments to the Department of Justice. It's a little bit of a tough situation. What if his appointee decides to dismiss the charges? I think this is one more reason why we need Republicans to win in Georgia, just to make sure that there's accountability.
This all comes as text messages revealed Hunter's former business associates, were hinting to get the president-elect involved in a joint venture with a Chinese energy company.
Coming up, homeless resource providers are turning to the internet to get help with donations. We'll show you how you can help and get through a new virtual giving aid.
Plus, see how one group is helping a San Juan County family with a gift that so many of us take for granted.
And it's warm out there. Temperatures today, the high was 42 degrees, the average is 37, and our sunset is right around 5 o'clock tomorrow, the shortest day of the year. We'll have your forecast and talk about if we'll have a white Christmas or not coming up.
Everything in Vegas is a gamble.
Hell's Kitchen Las Vegas, January 7th on Fox.
We all want to feel good and find answers for what ails us. Each Wednesday, health experts and physicians from Intermountain Healthcare will share answers, tips, and advice to help you feel your best. Wellness Wednesdays, each week on Fox 13 News, live at 4.
I'm Dr. Brian Christensen, a board-certified oral surgeon. I perform no-cost wisdom teeth removal at JBR Clinical Research. We are conducting a research study for an investigational pain medication given after wisdom teeth removal. To participate, call us today or visit jbrclinicalresearch.com.
At Honda, we take the holidays seriously. Visit Happy Honda Days to get a great offer on the Pilot.
Today's ways of working may work differently tomorrow, but you can work out anything with Comcast Business. Get fast, reliable, and secure internet on the nation's largest gig speed network. Flexible tools like Wi-Fi you control, voice solutions that connect you from anywhere, and expert advice. Here, or even here. Be fast, be flexible, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Get started with a powerful internet and voice solution for just $64.90 a month. Plus, for a limited time, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card when you upgrade. Switch today.
Any Hour Services is giving away cash for the holidays. From now until Christmas, get a $500 Visa gift card with every new furnace or air conditioner purchase, and a $50 Visa gift card with every indoor air quality purchase. To schedule a free estimate, call us or visit anyhour.com.
Nobody's immune to bad air quality. It affects everyone, no matter your age. Even healthy people can develop respiratory problems when they least expect it. I do what I can to improve our air. The only other thing I can do is ask you to help.
Utah is making progress with our air quality, but we need your help to keep moving forward. Visit ucare.org for simple ways you can help improve our air.
I'm Dr. Brian Christensen, a board-certified oral surgeon. I perform no-cost wisdom teeth removal at JBR Clinical Research. We are conducting a research study for an investigational pain medication given after wisdom teeth removal. To participate, call us today or visit jbrclinicalresearch.com.
Welcome back. If you're looking for ways to give this holiday season, homeless resource providers across the state say the need has never been greater. They say donations are down because of the pandemic, so they're turning to technology, hoping to encourage more people to donate essential supplies. The virtual giving machine on HomeAid's website lets you buy new items for those experiencing homelessness. You just pick what you want to buy, enter the address for the homeless resource provider, click the Open Item in Amazon button, and buy the item.
Part of the purpose of the virtual giving machine is to get those resources donated to a reliable service provider so that the donors can be assured that, their dollars are being used properly.
Not a bad way to use your cell phone. With the virtual giving machine, you can see how far away each item is from meeting the goal. Now, once it's met, the object tile disappears. That way, homeless resource providers are getting the essential items that they need. If you'd like to donate, you can find a link to the HomeAid virtual giving machine at fox13now.com.
A family from San Juan County has received a gift that many of us cannot live without. The Yellow Man Williams family lives near Montezuma Creek on the Navajo Reservation, and like many of us, they have had to reimagine what education for their kids looked like during the COVID-19 pandemic. But for them, they've been living without Wi-Fi until the Waterford Upstart program was able to step in and offer some help.
It's like a dream come true getting this software for my Kylie, and also not just for her, for the family.
Yeah, it's hard to do online school if you can't connect. Cornelia says she's not only helping to teach her daughter, Kylie, she's also going back to school herself to get her associate's degree. And now that they have a laptop and Wi-Fi from the Waterford Upstart, they say doing both will be a whole lot easier.
When we come back, a Utah choir finding new ways to get their voices heard during the pandemic. See the clever changes Utah's One Voice Choir is making to their lineup.
And later in sports, Utah football scoring a couple of QBs out of the transfer portal on Sunday. While Rudy makes a big statement with the pen, is the future bright in Jazzland? More on that Go Bear signing in a bit.
Next live, Allie Wentworth, and Tuesday, Mariah Carey.
Break out the sequins. Put on a heel.
Monday at 10 a.m. on Fox 13.
Fox 13 investigates, asking the tough questions, uncovering the hidden truth, and finding answers for you, seeking transparency and accountability in our community. If you have a story that needs investigating, we want to hear from you. Reach us through iTeam at fox13now.com.
Nothing beats the fun of new technology during the holidays. And nothing has more fun technology than a new Hyundai. With magical features like available blind spot view monitor and wireless device charging. And with the savings of Hyundai Holidays, now you can get one for yourself. Hyundai Holidays. The longer you look, the more there is to like.
Get 0% for 72 months on the Santa Fe, or up to $4,250 in total savings. Only at your Utah Hyundai dealer.
At Intermountain Healthcare, we understand that COVID hasn't stopped babies from being born, emergencies from happening, or the need for doctor visits. We all still have health needs. So at Intermountain, we continue to have measures in place to safely care for you now and in the future. So please don't put off the care you need, especially for stroke-like symptoms, chest pain, difficulty breathing, or other urgent care. We continue to be here for you. Visit intermountainhealthcare.org to learn how to get the care you need.
Mom, I'm finished! We pray each day, may you come home and be
One more?
okay. For now, we wait for you to come. Daddy!
Fox 13's Ben Winslow, part of Utah's #1 news team.
Sweet voices there. Can you hear them? A Utah choir having to overcome some real challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic. They now have a worldwide audience.
And they do sound good. In a story you will only see here, Fox 13's John Franke explains why the choir's work this year might be its most important ever.
Of course, the holidays look and sound different this year. For nearly 20 years, the One Voice Children's Choir has delighted audiences all across the state. I met with 4 members of the choir, and while they can't have those big performances this Christmas, they are finding a way to share their gift.
It's very different, honestly.
Days like this,
Best time of the year.
singing together. They've been few and far between for members of the One Voice Children's Choir.
During the Christmas season, we're usually about every other day doing a performance.
COVID-19 has halted those performances in 2020.
The biggest challenge is not performing for an audience. I think we thrive off of that energy.
But in spite of the challenges,
being with people while being online is kind of sad because it's always fun to sing together with everyone.
this choir is finding a way
Instead of doing in-person rehearsal, we get to do Zoom rehearsal.
to maintain its energy
We knew that we needed to keep making music more now than ever.
while sharing an important message.
People are listening to our music and feeling inspirational.
The choir released 5 Christmas tracks this fall. Some were recorded before the pandemic, but one, a cover of Michael Bublé's The More You Give, was recorded in an unconventional way.
We all use headphones so that there's no background noise.
Dozens of choir members recorded themselves singing solo at home, just like this.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling too.
They sent that audio to director Masa Fukuda.
They kind of learn to get used to it and kind of live with what we've got.
Masa arranged the audio files.
It's awesome what Masa can do.
And after hours of work, created this music video.
Almost here, so spread some cheer.
It's one of several the choir has produced since March that collectively have gathered millions of views.
Those numbers are so big, but it doesn't hit you until you hear the impact it makes on people.
There have been days when many of us have had a hard time finding a reason to smile.
People were looking for healing and hope, and this is where they came to hear the children sing.
Sounds like this.
Let's give love, give some back. The more you give, the more you have.
A reassurance
Just to see their innocent faith
of a hopeful future.
It's everything for us to be able to share our message. That's what we live for as a choir.
You can hear more of the choir's music on YouTube. We'll link you to their page on our website. In the studio, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Oh, it's so fun to hear from them. You know who I heard singing earlier? It was Dina Friedman. I think she was singing I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas.
I was dreaming of it, and then I was like, oh, well, I made up another song to say that it's not going to snow.
Oh.
I know, you were all very entertained.
At least I wasn't the one singing.
That's
No one
right.
really wants to hear that.
My melodic voice, it got to you all, I just know. Okay, all right, let's take a look outside right now. So we've had mostly cloudy skies throughout the day today, but now it's just becoming partly cloudy. It's very warm, though. Ahead of our next storm, it's 40. And when it's 40 degrees at 9 o'clock at night, something's fishy. You know that we've got the south flow, warm air. Things are going to change fast on Tuesday. But with that warm air, it means that our clouds were doing very cool things this evening. So we had some mid-level clouds and some low-level clouds. And when you have those low and mid-level clouds, you have a mix of water droplets and ice crystals. And when there's still water droplets in the air, we can still see a rainbow. Fantastic. We don't really see that very often in December, a winter rainbow, and a slight reflection there of a double. Nice shot over the Oakers tonight. Good work. We've got a few droplets around because we've had some scattered shower activity. We're still seeing a few stray raindrops and snowflakes in Box Elder and Cache and Rich County, and we saw a few snowflakes today around East Canyon area, but the whole lower half of the state was clear today and nice and warm. Our next storm system still a ways out, but it's going to get its act together Monday night and into Tuesday, Wednesday. The last few days just been a seesaw of temperatures. We're up, we're down, we're up, we're down. Average is 37. It has been very warm, though, in the past 24 hours. So warm that it is 13 degrees warmer than it was 24 hours ago, 12 degrees warmer than it was 24 hours ago in Provo, and 8 degrees warmer in Salt Lake. That means that our current temperature right now is 40. That is unusual for this late at night. 40 in Salt Lake, 36 in Park City. That is too warm. We can't even make snow when our temperatures get that hot. So we'll start to cool it off on Tuesday. 33 right now in Provo and 40 in St. George. The culprit, high pressure. When high pressure moves over to the east, on the backside of it, you get the southwest flow. Southwest flow moving ahead of our cold front. And as this gets here on Tuesday morning into Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday, cold air is behind it. However, it is a mostly dry storm. We'll have a weak shot at some high elevation precipitation and some snow at our mountain locations, but it's not a big winter at all. What is a big winter is tomorrow night. It's the solstice. Shortest day of the year, so it'll be nice and dark by 5 o'clock. Sun goes down. You want to go out, look to the south and west. Now, if you're in Salt Lake City, it's going to be slightly above the Oquirrh Mountains up to the south and west. It is the closest conjunction or closest encounter of Saturn and Jupiter in 400 years. And you can see both of the planets tomorrow. They'll be very close to looking like they're on top of each other. It'll be extra bright. Call it the Christmas star or the Star of Bethlehem, some people refer it to. And if you get binoculars or you've got a really good telescope, you could see the 4 moons of Jupiter if you're lucky. I remember one of them is called Io. Has a neat name. 32 degrees tonight, warm night, partly cloudy in Salt Lake. And tomorrow, warm. 48 degrees in Salt Lake, 48 in Provo, 60 in St. George. My goodness, get your bicycle back out. It's so hot out there. We've got a nice week for you for Christmas week. It does cool off on Christmas morning here. Temperatures in the 20s in southern Utah. And in northern Utah, the story on Tuesday, a small chance of precipitation here. Rain mixing with a little bit of snow, but nothing significant. And then for Christmas morning, Christmas Eve, just very cold in the morning, and then partly cloudy and in the 30s for the afternoon. So a dry but cold Christmas ahead.
With the Jazz's preseason in the books and the late start to the campaign on the horizon, the club received some welcome news this morning. Their 7'1" prize in the middle has committed to stay in Utah long term. Rudy Gobert, despite some drama last season, has signed a 5-year extension with the Jazz for $205 million bones. Gobert and the recently extended Donovan Mitchell will now make up 65% of the Jazz's salary cap when the deal starts for the 2021-2022 season. But the good news is both stars officially locked down. So now what?
You know, I believe in this group. I believe in this organization, and that's why, you know, my decision was easy to make, because that's where my heart is. And since I got here, I always thought that, you know, having a chance to bring the championship to the state of Utah, to the city, and you know, and to this organization would be something pretty powerful.
Kyle Kuzma has earned 3 more years with the Lakers after helping guide LA get back to the championship column last season. Kuzma has signed a 3-year extension worth $40 million. The Ute product has exceeded expectations by averaging nearly 13 points and 4.5 boards a game a season ago. Weber stayed at Portland State for the second time in 3 days to open up Big Sky play. The Wildcats won by 28 on Friday, but the Vikings elevate up 16 in the first half this afternoon. Khalid Thomas, but Purple starts the second on a 33-18 run. Dante Bassett pivot and scoop. The Florida transfer gave Weber its first lead of the game. Final minute, James Scott with the big one for Portland State, and one last chance roadie Zaire Porter nearly flicks it home to force overtime, but it rims off. Weber visits BYU on Wednesday. Utah Hoops was supposed to fire up again on Tuesday with a conference matchup in Tempe against Arizona State, but that game has now been canceled after a confirmed COVID case. Utah Valley's next game against Air Force also called off by that virus. The Lady Utes hosting the 6th-ranked team in the country Sunday. Kate Reese, the &1 in transition, early lead for Arizona. Nia Becker leading red with a baker's dozen, cuts the halftime deficit to only 8, but Zona quickly up double digits to start the third. Ari McDonald with a game-high 19, including the swipe and bucket scene here as the Wildcats take it by 17 at the Huntsman. Good news for the Utes football program, securing a big commitment out of the transfer portal, and it's another Longhorn. Jaquindron Jackson, the 3rd-ranked dual-threat quarterback out of the class of 2020, did not play at all this season for Texas. Of course, the Utes starter on opening day, Cam Rising, also originally began wearing burnt orange. Baylor grad transfer Charlie Brewer has also chosen Utah out of the portal today. We know the 4 schools competing for a national championship this season. Bama gets Notre Dame in the Citrus Bowl, while Clemson, who pummeled the Irish in the ACC championship game, draws Ohio State in the Rose. BYU, ahead of this week's Boca Raton Bowl, finishes 16th in the final college football playoff rankings. And around the bend on the Fox 13 Sports page, to say Drew Lisk has been waiting a while might be understating it, but boy, did the Ute quarterback seize the moment. Plus more on the Jazz, including the Gobert signing and the franchise's new boss, to go along with a week that was in the National Football League. We'll be right back.
The holidays are full of surprises.
Like when Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. If she'd called Craig Swap and Associates, we could have gotten her the settlement she deserved.
Oh, that's good advice.
Craig Swap and Associates, one call, that's all.
When I suit up for a game, I dress to win. In a great fitting suit from Mr. Mac. Now during the winter clearance, save on men's suits. Single pant suits start at $199. 2 pant suits start at $229. Stock up on quality slacks, buy one, get one half off. Save on shirts, ties, and a huge selection of sports coats. Plus, find red tag savings throughout the stores. Dress to win at Mr. Mac, the home of fast-free alterations.
At Honda, we take the holidays seriously. With serious style and serious capability. So while others may be decking the halls, you could be dashing through the snow with the best value of the season. Now's the best time to get into a new Honda. KBB.com's best value brand for 2020. Visit Happy Honda Days at your local Honda dealer or shop online to get a great offer on the CR-V.
For over 20 years, Marcosian Auto has provided quality used vehicles to the people of Utah regardless of credit situation. And at Marcosian Auto, if you have a job and a driver's license, you're approved, guaranteed. You're approved for full warranties and free oil changes. You're approved for super low downs and super reasonable payment. And folks, especially with COVID-19, don't get jerked around, get approved.
Is your credit score getting in the way of things you want to do? Personal loans through NetCredit help you borrow up to $10,000. So check your eligibility on netcredit.com today without affecting your credit score. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan.
Another foggy Christmas Eve.
Let me help. Bad weather can be a white knuckle ride and nobody wants an accident for Christmas. Be alert and take it slow and easy.
That's good advice.
Craig Swap and Associates, one call, that's all.
At American Family Insurance, we've always protected more than what you drive. We've protected and supported the dreams that drive you. Right now, that means extending our 10% savings on auto premium for all current and new auto customers through March, so you can get a little closer to your dream. Whether your dream is discovering new roads and new limits, or supporting that dream. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Finally tonight, you remember hearing about this guy, the owl that was stuck in that famous Rockefeller Christmas tree. Well, it's now getting its own children's book. It's called Rockefeller the Christmas Owl. The author of the book spruced up Rockefeller the Owl's surprise trip to the Big Apple and had it make new friends, including Santa Claus, and experience the wonder of new journeys before making its way back home. The book is now available for purchase on Amazon. You knew there'd be a story there.
Was I the only one that didn't know that that happened?
Oh, that the owl kind of took a ride from his home. And
now he's famous and has a book. Not bad. Yeah. Thanks for watching Fox 13 News at 9.
Yeah, quick cast coming up next. Have a great night.